Do 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 do. Let's pop these out, as it were. Pop out the comments so I can see Wagwan. Pop that there. Perhaps that's a bit big actually. Let's pop that there. Make that a bit bigger. And there we go. Happy days. Everything is awesome. Let's pop that there. Nice. Right, we are ready to rock on this fine... Oh, hang on. Let's... Where's my... There it is. Need to clean the lenses. Need to clean the glasses so I can see what is going on. But, yeah, in the meantime, if anyone asks a question, I probably won't be able to see it. Give me a second, and I will clean the glasses, and then I'll be right with you. I shall be back. Once. Oh, what was that? Right. Right. Let's do the glasses. Let's get them cleaned, and then I shall be right with you to answer your mortgage questions. Oh. Oh, someone. Thank you for the follow, whoever that was. Someone's just followed. It was very good. I can see a few people on YouTube have subscribed as well, which is really cool. Good stuff. So yeah, feel free to ask your questions. Now the glasses are clean. The coffee is ready. The glasses are clean. I'm ready to go. So I'm already a coffee deep, so it should be quite responsive. And yeah, just hit me up. Hit me up with what you want to ask. Dear me, what a kerfuffle. Anyway, if you would so wish, if you could tap the screen to get some likes, because then that attracts more people in, you see. And that's very helpful, because then they ask questions you might not have thought of. So, yeah, do tap the screen if you can. It's very helpful and always much appreciated. So, thank you very much. And if you want to hit a follow, then follow, and look what happens to that. If you hit follow, just watch what happens to that. It's my new toy. It's awesome. Portal. Yes, good. Progress. We've just had a mortgage notification of a mortgage. Oh, someone's just followed. Wait for it. Wait for it. It will do it in a minute. But yeah, we just had a mortgage approval come through this morning, so that's always a nice start to the day. So yeah, good news on that front. Subject to the valuation, of course, because anything can happen after that. There you go. Boom. It's done it. It's counted. How very exciting. Yeah, subject to that valuation, that mortgage should go to offer. I'm quite confident the valuation will be fine. As long as there's no quirky comments from the person doing the valuation, it should sail through. But yeah, that should be another one going to offer relatively quickly. Best mortgage lender for right to buy a big discount. It depends on your individual circumstances. There's not a one broad brush solution for everyone. There is not a best that suits everyone. It's the best one for your needs and your circumstances. So you would need to speak to a mortgage broker to get that sorted out. But yeah, unfortunately, when people ask for the best lender for this, best lender for that, there's many other things that come into it. So it's impossible to say. When's the best time to get a survey done? Probably about when you've had an offer accepted and you're just instructing the solicitors. Then you get your survey done. You want to make sure you get the survey done prior to exchange, because if anything flags up, you can still withdraw from the sale, pull out from it. If you do it after exchange, you're kind of stuck. You're just going to have to deal with the issues it flags up. How much do mortgage brokers charge? Anything from free to a couple of £1,000, I've heard. I suppose the average is £500. We've had our mortgage offer and survey. Solicitors been instructed. Now what? Now you just got to wait. You've got to wait for the solicitors to do their thing. The next stage will be exchange of contracts, where you pay your deposit. But that could be a good few weeks off, because the conveyancing side of things does take a long time. It will go quiet. You won't hear a lot, so don't panic. They will contact you if they need something from you or they found something. In the meantime, just don't worry. Don't chase, because it just takes up quite a lot of time. But yeah, you should be in a nice quiet stage now. How do you find the best mortgage brokers and not slow working brokers or scammers? You speak to brokers, you speak to them, find out if you like them. You book and call. Of course, you're speaking to one of the best. Yeah, I mean that's how you can find them. I have an interest only mortgage, I suppose. Can I change the repayment mortgages in how? Yes, you can. So you'd have to change the product. You need to be able to afford it. But yeah, you should be able to do that, no problem. If I was to win a large amount money off could I use that to buy a house? If you wanted to, but I really don't understand what you're trying to say there. Off a comment. I don't know what you're asking. Don't know what you're asking, I'm afraid. Type it in English and try again. Mischievous. If you could tap the likes, it'll be greatly appreciated, because then more people will come to the live and ask more questions. And I like questions. I like answering questions. When does the first payment go out after completing and the keys collected? It very much depends on the lender and their sort of billing cycle. They will write to you prior to it happening. So after completion, your lender will write to you confirming the date that the first payment's going to come out and how much it's going to be, so that you are in the thing. Oh, you need to update your following behind you. It does it automatically, Amelia. If you follow, watch what happens. Here you go. Someone's just followed. Thank you for that, DMJ85. There you go. Look, updates automatically. How cool is that? How cool is that? Very exciting. Exchange, but developers, solicitors have not had the transfer from Homes England. Is this common? Yeah, if it's a new build. Yeah. Oh, it says you're at 23.3, but that is cool. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, on TikTok it only goes in points, so 23.3. I think when you get to sort of like 50, it'll move on to the next one. So yeah, it's pretty funky, isn't it? It's my new toy. I do enjoy it. It does it like all day, all night, clicking away. Is it worth taking a course to become a mortgage broker? Is it a livable wage or a side job? Of course it's a livable wage. This is full-time work. You can't do this as a side job. It takes up too much time. Why has my lender asked for a guarantor in the deeds section of paperwork? Why has my lender asked for a guarantor in the deeds section of the paperwork? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Have you done a sort of joint borrower sole proprietor mortgage application? A guarantor wouldn't normally go on the deeds of the paperwork. Broker told me everything would be fine. Pay £500, got declined due to pay rise. Been a nightmare. See, that's why we charge our fee when we get you a formal mortgage offer. We don't charge our fee up front. We charge when you've got something to show for it. After completion day, how many days does it take to get the key? Well, you should be able to get it on the same day. Day of completion, you should be able to get it. Can be a busy day, completion day. A very busy day. How does one going about using a mortgage broker or your company? How's one going about what? What's your advice on shared ownership? I have done a video on shared ownership. So if you look back at my profile, I think it's called Thoughts on Shared Ownership. The highlights are, if you can buy without shared ownership, that's probably the better choice. But if shared ownership's your only option, absolutely fine, because you might live somewhere that's really expensive. So just be aware that there's extra costs you need to be aware of: rent, mortgage, service charge. Have a strategy, speak to a broker, work out what your strategy is going to be, and then that depends how much you're gonna want to buy and all that kind of stuff. It's a big topic, basically. Does it take the whole day for completion day? Can do, because money has to move around, solicitors have to confirm things, all that kind of stuff. How do you know how much equity you have in your house? So it's the difference between the house value and the outstanding mortgage. That difference is how much equity you've got. I've paid 12k towards interest only in 2 years. If I change the repayment, will that 12k go towards it? No, you've paid 12k's worth of interest. That money's spent, that's gone. Opinions on 4.49 fixed for 5 years. Should I do 2 years? I don't know any of your circumstances, so I'm not allowed to say. For the regulator, I don't know any of your circumstances, so I can't say on that. If you're a client, of course, I would know everything about your situation, and I would be recommending the best solution for you. But I earn 50k a year. What's the chance of getting a mortgage? Credit score isn't the best. Depends what the issues on the credit file are. Credit scores are relevant. It's what actual things are on the credit file affecting it. It goes back 6 years. We look at your whole credit history for 6 years. So, yeah, be mindful of that. Any more news on banks dropping like HSBC? Yes. Who was it? NatWest. NatWest. Was it NatWest? Yeah, I think it was NatWest yesterday. I just got my mortgage. My circumstances have changed. Can't move until 2026. Can I rent it out? Not unless it's on a buy-to-let mortgage. First-time buyer. I'm renting a house. Should I do interest only? I wouldn't. Well, to get interest only, the criteria is very strict. You've got to be a very high earner. You've got to be sort of earning possibly like 80k plus to get interest only, and have a repayment vehicle to run alongside. If I get a new car in January, will this affect mortgage in March, remortgage in March? If you're getting it on finance, it could do, because the finance payments will affect how much you can borrow on a mortgage. If you're buying it outright, I doubt it. I got let to buy. Can I get? Do you mean buy to let? Can I get another residential mortgage? If yes, how much deposit is required? If you're talking about a buy to let, then you can get a residential with a 10% deposit. How much deposit do I need for a commercial mortgage? I don't know. I don't do commercial. I'll have to put you in touch with someone that does. If I speak to a mortgage advisor and then don't buy a house for a few months, will this be negative? No, don't see why it would. No, don't worry about that. Yeah, Katie, I really don't understand your concern on that one. Really nothing to worry about. Is there any difficulty in getting a mortgage using crypto gains? Yes, because lenders don't like crypto. Why do you need to put down a lot more deposit for buy-to-lets? Just because they want more security in it, I suppose. How often do you see people getting gazumped? Not seen it for ages. Very long time. Bought a buy-to-let, lied, said renting it out by living it myself. What if I get caught? Well, first of all, you're stupid for putting something like that in a public forum where lenders follow me. And if you get caught, it's mortgage fraud. They can call in the mortgage or repossess the property, and they will put numerous fraud markers against you, so you won't ever be able to get any lending again. I have a meeting tomorrow with a mortgage advisor, but worried I'll be tied into something. Well, cancel it and speak to us, and we won't tie you into anything. There you go. Nothing to worry. Cancel it, book in a call with us. We'll talk to you about all your plans, all your strategy, when you're looking to do it. No commitment, and we're friendly. So there you go. Yeah, and you can have a chat, no problem. What's the average rate to work out potential mortgage repayments? There isn't an average rate, because it's all dependent on individual situations and circumstances. So things that will affect it will be things they can't repossess. Yes, they can. Believe me, yes, they can. You're deluded if you think the lender can't repossess your property. Are flats good investment or not worth it due to service charges, lease term? It's certainly something you want to have a look at. The lease term mainly, because if the lease is running out, then you won't be able to get lending on it, because, of course, the more the lease runs out, the less value it's worth. So... yeah, that's a big concern. And then, of course, the charges, ground rent, service charge, it affects your affordability. Remortgage due April, 5 years or 2 years. I can't answer that because I don't know any of your circumstances. If you're a client, of course, I'd know your circumstances and we'd be recommending what's the best option for you. But on TikTok, we can't do that. How to get a mortgage for auction houses? Oh, God, I wouldn't. We don't do auction work. Far too much hassle. Bought a house at 67k, now worth 100k. How much equity can I get out for a second house? You're going to need to leave about 15% equity in there. So get to a point where you've got an 85% loan to value. Then you should be all right. It depends also what the second house is going to be. Is it going to be a buy to let? Because then you're going to need to make sure you've got enough. You've got a 25% deposit to buy the buy to let. So it all depends on what your strategy is. How to get out of interest-only mortgage when one party is close to retirement age? Get in touch with a broker and they'll look at your options. There's ways to do it. I've done it quite a few clients. Michael, I can't tell you if that rate is decent or not, because I I don't know any of your circumstances. We are looking to move. Is it worth keeping our flat to rent out? That's for you to answer. I personally would not want to be a landlord, but that's my personal opinion. If you want to go down that route, that's fine. You will need to sort out the lending on the flat to make sure you're able to rent it out. But yeah, would you avoid equity release schemes? I assuming you're over 55. It depends on your circumstances. I don't know. It depends. It depends. Essentially, I'm afraid. I can't say if I would avoid them or not. Can I get a mortgage council house worth 148, 90k discount? Got about 5k deposit too. Yeah, you should be able to, as long as you can afford the repayments on the mortgage, as long as you got income. How far back do you look at banking history? Would you need to stop gambling for a long time? So 3 months pay slips and 6 months on the credit file. Do you know where we can find our first home schemes houses? Through developers. Can I get what are 2 years and 5 years mortgage going on? Best. Can you get a mortgage on benefits? There are lenders that take benefits into account as income. Whether you'll need some form of additional income as well depends on the lender, and whether the benefits will allow you to borrow what you need is another situation. So potentially you can. Do all mortgage brokers only look back at 3 months bank history? Generally, yes. If we need more bank statements, we'll ask for them. If the lender wants more, then we'll ask for those as well. But generally, we'll just ask for 3 months. If I buy a home, we'll borrow 120. It's worth 270. How soon will I get the equity out to buy a buy-to-let? Depends how. Well, I suppose it depends on the lender. You might be able to do it straight away. Others might have a situation into it. Anyone buying second house for investment should be excited to raise house prices for their kids. All right, thank you. I'm 35, purchasing my first house. I'm on 47k. What bank is giving the best rates? It depends on your situation. Totally depends on your situation. Is shared ownership worth it? If you want to get on the housing ladder and you can't buy traditionally, maybe you live in an area with high house prices, then it's a viable way to get onto the housing market. You obviously have to go into these things with your eyes wide open, do the research, and look deeply into it, come up with a strategy of what you actually want to achieve, and yeah, then it might be viable. But like I say, do not just go into it. Look into all the details. Is it easier and quicker to convert a existing interest-only mortgage to repayment with the same lender? Potentially. You do need to be assessed though for the affordability. Council house one for would I need a deposit? Probably not. Mine touted to discount as being 25. I don't know. You need to. I'm a mortgage advisor. I'm not a right to buy advisor. Can you take equity out if you're in a fixed mortgage? Do you have to wait until mortgage? Yes, you can. So it's called additional borrowing. So you would have to use the same lender you've got, and it will be additional borrowing. Again, it will be assessed for affordability. You'll then also end up with 2 sub-accounts on your mortgage account, which might be out of sync in terms of dates and renewal. So it does need some consideration. It does need some planning, because you might then inadvertently just mean you're fixed with that same lender for a very long time until you can bring it more into line. So yeah. What happens if you get caught renting out property as not buy to let? They can repossess the property, or they can call in the mortgage, meaning you'll have to sell it. They will do you for mortgage fraud and put markers against your name to say you're a fraudster. So really not worth doing it. And then asking it in a public forum like this where lenders follow is not a smart move either. How many years bank statements do you need to provide as self-employed? You don't, not years. You need to provide at least 1 year's accounts and tax returns, and then your 3 months personal bank statements. Lenders are watching you live, are they? Yeah, they do. They do. Why is that difficult for you to comprehend? Why is such an issue to not have a buy-to-let mortgage? Because there's rules and regulations around property financing. So if you want to rent out your property, you either have to have consent to let from the lender or a buy-to-let mortgage. When you buy a house, can you add improvements onto the mortgage? Not necessarily. It depends on the value and the Potentially. I mean, it depends on the loan to value and what you're doing. How do lenders value property when your fixed rate ends? Visit or index of some kind. So either they do a desk-based valuation or a in person. So they'll come out and value it, or they will just go off data they've got available to them and do a desk-based valuation. Do I need a mortgage in principle before applying? It's always wise to. Certainly before viewing properties and making offers, you'd be wise to get a decision in principle so you know how much you can borrow. Just checking viewer list for Santander. Well, you're going to have a look because they're not going to follow in their company name, are they, you tool? Oh, Jesus. You're embarrassing yourself. You're trying to be a troll, but you're embarrassing yourself. What an idiot. How does porting work if the next property is worth less? You might get the money back, but you'll face an early repayment charge. Do some lenders offer 20% deposit for buy-to-let mortgage? Some do. No. Nick Sliddle. Maybe people follow in their own name. Have you got that through your little mind? Can you understand that concept? Or are you too thick to do that? Absolute moron. What advantages of part owning? Oh, well, you own part of the house. So if it increases in value, you can share part of that increase. That's about it, really, in all honesty. Can someone gift money towards their parents' deposit or mortgage? Yes, you can gift a deposit. Jesus, Nick, you're an embarrassment to yourself. Grow up. What an absolute moron. He can't get his head around that someone could have a day off. They could be watching not under a company name. What a moron. What's the new stamp duty threshold? So the thresholds are changing from the 1st of April. So for a first-time buyer, it's going to be 300,000. For a home mover or second-time buyer, it's going to be 125,000. After which you then start paying stamp duty. Should you do a 2 or 5 year mortgage? I can only answer that if I know your full situation. So if you're a client, essentially. Because that's what we do. We can't do it on TikTok because we don't know your situation. And the regulator would not allow it, quite rightly. Should I get in touch with my broker if I'm now 6 months to remortgaging? Yes, now's the time to look, Ryan. Particularly with rates changing. You want to protect yourself from any further increases, so it would be wise to. Give them a shout. Or give us a shout if you want. You don't have to stay with the same mortgage advisor, mortgage broker. You can use whoever you wish. We're still waiting for a mortgage offer to be accepted. It's been 5 weeks. Is that normal? That is quite a long time. Have they done the valuation? Are they struggling to get access to the property to do a valuation? That is a long time. Certainly get chasing that up. How much deposit can a first-time buyer put down the minimum? 5%? Yeah, you can get it with 5%. As long as you've got a good credit file, you should be all right. What's a crisscross lease? Well, I don't know. Oh, Jesus, Nick, you're boring. You get it? No, you don't get it. You don't get it at all, Nick. That's the point. You really don't get it. Yes. What an idiot. Nick. Nick's proving how small his brain is. So long, Nick. You're blocked. What an idiot. What an idiot. Oh, Jesus. Does first-time buyer or key workers such as nurses get discounts on new build? Potentially you can do, but you'll end up paying the price anyway. It won't necessarily be a discount. You'll pay the price. I've got a bad credit score. Can you get residential? Credit score is irrelevant. I need to know the situation. I need to know the issues on the credit file. He's the number one gifter. Yeah, he's a dirty little troll. That's all he was. He's gone now anyway. There's one failed payment on a credit file 4 years ago. Could this stop me getting a mortgage? Yes, it would stop you getting a mortgage with certain lenders. But if you go to a broker such as ours, we've got access to the whole market, so we would find a home for it. But if you do it yourself and go to certain lenders, yeah, it might not fit their lending criteria. But use a broker and it should be fine. What are the mortgage rates now? There's absolutely thousands of them, depending on so many different variables. What amount of share percentage is a family company will make a difference in mortgage? What? What amount of share percentage in the family company will make a difference in a mortgage application? If you own over 25% of a company, you are classed as self-employed. About to exchange, but brokers now ask for more AML docs. Surely is this sorted already? It should be. You should have your mortgage offer. Can you take out equity without remortgaging? Yes, so it's additional borrowing. It's still assessed, though, for affordability. Can parents transfer money into my own current or savings account that comes from their work? Yeah, if it's a gift. I've used a broker and he's giving problems getting me mortgage as I hold money in family bonds. Well, if you can't prove your deposit, that's going to cause a problem for anyone. If I own a limited company and on the books, will they look into company books? Yes, because we need to provide your accounts and tax returns for the last year, ideally 2 or more. How many months worth of books do you need for self-employed? At least a year, ideally 2 or more. So your credit score has nothing to do with getting a mortgage. Can you clarify, please? Yes, your credit score is just a number at that point of time. I had a credit file come through to me yesterday with someone that had a score of 800, but they had a default still showing on their credit file, and therefore there are lenders that wouldn't touch it because it's got a default on the credit file. We are looking at the whole credit history for the last 6 years. So credit score is largely irrelevant because it only gives you a sort of an idea of how the healthiness of your credit report at that point in time. It doesn't give us a view of the history, and we look at the whole history. If I port mortgage to a new house, do I need another deposit? Nope. Because you've probably got the equity in there to do it. How do you know which type of home improvements will improve the value of a house to a lender? It's not just the value to the lender, it's the value to everyone. I mean, adding an extension, adding floor space, substantial refurbishment, that kind of stuff. What's the best tool to check credit for score? Check My File. That's the only credit file we accept. You can get a free Check My File report if you use the link in my TikTok bio. If we're on a live, you have to press my face twice, and then you find a link that says book a call and more. Open up that, and it will show you a list of things you can do. You can book in a call, you can book in a will appointment, you can get your free credits. Check My File report. Can you go from shared ownership to another shared ownership property? Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Could I have part of my deposit as profit from cryptocurrency? No. Lenders don't like cryptocurrency. I've used brokerage. Is it a long... Oh, right. Yeah, I know this case, SH, because the bonds are in your children's name and they can't feasibly gift it. You're not going to be able to... Don't try and put Joe down. He's a competent broker. The problem you've got is that deposit cannot be used because it's in bonds in the name of children, and therefore they are the children's and they can't be deemed to gift it. Do you recommend taking out life insurance or income protection? Depends on your circumstances, what you want to do. So life insurance is for when you die. Income protection you can use while you're still living. So it'd be wise to have both, in all honesty. But there are alternatives you can do. There are other things that you might want to look at. Can a sale of a high value items be used to deposit, e.g. watch a car? Yes, but you need to keep receipts and stuff to show that you sold them. And that's where the money's come from. Wasn't able to get a higher mortgage. How can this change? Earn more. That's the only real reason. Well, Georgia, there's 2 ways. Either you improve your income or you reduce your outgoings. So if you've got credit card balances or things on finance credit, then minimize those, and that might improve your affordability. Not putting down what if I transfer back to then use. If you transfer them out of bonds into an account in your name, that would be fine because the savings are in your name. The trouble is they're going to say, where has this money come from? And you're going to have to say, it's come from my children's bonds. And they're going to say, well, you can't do that because the children can't gift it to you because they're not of a suitable age. So it's a bit of an issue. I would think you're going to have to ignore them, in all honesty, because even transferring them out is still going to need proof of where the money has come from, a trail. And yeah, it's legitimate where it's come from. That's fine. It's just what the view on that is going to be. What insurance policy should a new homeowners get in your opinion? So the only compulsory insurance you have to get is buildings insurance. But then you might want to consider things like life insurance, critical illness cover, income protection. There's another one called MetLife, which is sort of like everyday cover. So it's worth speaking to a mortgage protection advisor. We do protection as well, to work out what your situation is and what your needs are. Of course, ideally, you'd have every single insurance in the world, but that's just not feasible due to cost and that kind of stuff. But it's up to what your budget can achieve. Is it a long process to release equity from a house? What kind of things must I prove? Show. So it's not a long process. It'll be additional borrowing. You just have to prove your affordability. Can my parents gift money to me out my brother's savings under 18? No, because they're your brother's savings. Can parents or partners gift you money for a deposit? Yes. What's the criteria for first-time buyer to let mortgage through my limited company? Income, some form of income, and all directors of the limited company have to be on the application, and it will largely be assessed on you. If you're a first-time buyer, first-time landlord, it will be assessed on your individual circumstances. So even though the rent will obviously help with that, they'll look at you. After how long can I live in my buy-to-let? You can't. You can't live in a buy-to-let. What type of fees are there when buying and selling, and roughly how much? So you're looking at solicitor's fees is probably the big one. Buying and selling could be a couple of grand. If you've got any stamp duty implications, you need to consider that. You may need a survey for your new property. May need to consider that. That could be about 600 quid. Broker fees could be 500, could be free, could be more. You need to look into it in a lot of detail. Is it hard to get a mortgage on property with an annex? It depends the situation of the annex. Is it on the same title deed as the main property? They will assess its structural integrity. Does it form a big part of the value? All that kind of stuff. Is overtime taken into account for mortgage application, and how does it calculate it? It is, yes. And then we would just need to find a lender that's going to take the most of it into account, because some lenders will take 50% of overtime, some will take 100%. They're probably going to ask for the last 3 months bank statements, and they might take an average, or they may even ask for your P60, which shows how much you actually earned in total last financial year. And then they go off that. Thank you for the follows. Oh, is it about to go to 90? Yeah, it is. Look at that. 23290. Can we get it to 300? Can we get it to 23,300? Go on, people. Hit the follow button. Let's get it to 23,300. Smash it. Go on. Go on. Go for it. Nice one. Oh, what's it going to go to? Oh, it's doing it. If buy-to-let was my first property and want to buy main house, will the deposit be higher? No, you can get a house with a 10% deposit for the next one. Go, we're not far off, people. Go on, another seven follows and you'll get there. How can you flip a house from buy-to-let to residential? You have to remortgage it, change it to a residential mortgage. Two more. How long do you need to be employed to qualify a mortgage? Some lenders would do it off a year's off a signed employment contract, so not necessarily any time. It's the counter is from a company called Smirl, Smirl. We've done it, everyone. Thank you. Look at it. What is it? Oh, nice work. Look at that. 301. Boom. Self-employed from December 23. My partner on 30k salary. I've got deposit 25. Can we get? Well, December 23, you haven't done a year's worth of accounts, so your income won't be taken into account, I'm afraid. What strategy you use for a property if you have 60k in equity? I don't know what you're talking about. Does more expensive solicitor do anything better? No. Same job. You're going to need an extra digit at some point. I don't think I will, It's going to take forever to get to 100,000. If I do, I'm willing to put my hand in my pocket and get a new counter, but it's going to be a very long time before we get to the 99999 mark. I'm struggling to get a decision in principle. What can I do? Speak to a broker. Will maternity leave affect mortgage? It shouldn't do. It just depends on what your situation is, what you're going back to, i.e. are you returning on the same basis or is it going to be different? We need a letter from your employer to confirm that. And yeah, we just go off that basis. Can you buy a flat with a short leasehold with a mortgage? Probably not. As soon as you get below sort of 80-year lease, lenders are going to start dropping by the wayside. There's not going to be many. Also, there are going to be some that want a minimum amount of lease remaining at the end of the mortgage term. So yeah, you want to avoid anything with sort of less than 90 years is probably going to start causing issues. The annex is half done. Well, if it's building work in process, then yeah, it could potentially affect it. What do you think about action? What kind of action? Action man? Action woman? Reaction? Inaction? What kind of action? Right, what time is it? Let's carry on till 10 o'clock because I've got a load of stuff to do. I've got a will appointment to write someone's will later. I've got some protection stuff to do. I've got I've got a couple of dips to do and a full application to go in. So quite a lot to do today. It's a busy day. Need to get ready for that will one because that's first. So, yes, do get your questions in now. Don't forget to follow and make that tick over because that's always fun. Yeah. And also, if you go to the TikTok bio, there is a link in there that says book a call and more. So you can click that. You can book in a call, first option. You can book in a call to write a will. That's the second one. And the third one is to get a free check my file report. So go and check it all out. It's all in there to help you out. How easy is it to change certain parts of a will? Well, you wouldn't necessarily change, you just write a new one, to be honest. Just write a new one. Absolutely straightforward. So yeah, staying with the same lender, removing equity out and investing for buy-to-let. How's it possible? So yeah, you will take the additional borrowing on your existing property. It needs to be assessed for affordability, and then you need to make sure that you've got at least a 25% deposit for the buy-to-lets. It's quite straightforward. Something we can do. Could I get a mortgage approved if my salary is 65, 400k value, 15k deposit? I don't know because I don't know any of your other circumstances. 65. It potentially depends on your situation. Can I take on a second job? What's not included in application while waiting on completion? Yeah, should be able to, as long as it doesn't interfere with the other one. Can I get free check my file report with you out going through you anyway? Just cancel it. So I don't understand. I'm getting a property. Would you advise get a leasehold as a first-time buyer? I can't recommend on that. I mean, it's down to you personally what you want to do. Whether it's leasehold or freehold, you need to look at the ins and outs of it all. Can't say anything. What's the best type of mortgage for single applicant first time buyer? Just a normal mortgage. 150 flat self-employed average profit first year possible. Again, it depends on your situation and your books. What type of self-employed are you? There's lots of variables that go into this stuff, so it's not easy to answer on TikTok what's possible and what's not. Can we get to 23,310? So we need 5 more followers before we go. What's the maximum loan to value for buy-to-let HMO these days? 25%? Do brokers specialise in location? Does it matter? No, there's no need. It doesn't matter. Can you book a call? Absolutely. If you want to book a call, you can send us an email to hello@mellowfinancial with your name and phone number, and someone will get in touch to book that in with you. Or if you just want to book in a call yourself, there is a link in the TikTok bio where you can do that. You can do that. 25% deposit, you mean? Yeah. What did I say? 25% loan to value. Sorry, 25% deposit. What are the legal fees and process when you remortgage with the new bank? Potentially nothing if the product you are remortgaging to includes free legals, which a lot of them do. Either that or they give you cash back to help towards the cost of the legal stuff. I can't answer if 5.2 is a good rate because I don't know your details at all. 18, 20k for mortgage from 900 credit score. Do you think I'll get accepted? I don't know, because I don't know anything else about your application. Credit score is irrelevant. It's your whole credit history you want to look at. Is remortgaging at the end of Help to Buy the best option? If you want to repay the Help to Buy loan, yes. Be aware that if you don't repay the Help to Buy loan, there are some lenders that won't allow you to remortgage to them because they want it cleared off. There is a whole process with Help to Buy if you want to remortgage and pay it off. So get in touch and we can talk you through that and tell you what you need to do, because you need to get it valued, you need to send it to Help to Buy, you need to pay an admin fee to Help to Buy, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, right, it is time. It is time to say goodbye, because I've got plenty to be getting on with. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your questions. If you would like to book in a call, please do so. If you're not following, then I implore you to do that, because there's plenty more of this good stuff quite regularly. If you call it good stuff, I mean, it's your opinion. But yeah, do hit the follow button, because I just like hearing that click clack over. I need 2 more to get to 300. Here we go. We've done it. Look at that. I say it and it does it. So thank you very much, everybody. That's clicked over. It's all very exciting. I love that kind of thing. But yeah, don't forget, don't hesitate to give us a follow, get in touch, and we can help you out. We've got really good availability because we've got numerous advisors that can help you out. So yeah, until next time, keep safe. Enjoy your Thursday and this festive period, if that's your thing. So yeah,